Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Well, I'm going up a little bit early tonight because Mr. T is going to be giving a speech in Tennessee. And I saw where somebody's got it scheduled to go live at 9 or 9:05 on NPC, but sometimes that gets backed up. He might not go live till 9:15, 9:30 or something like that. So I figured I better go live ahead of time because I certainly wouldn't go live afterwards. It's much too late in the evening. So anyway, let's see who all's here and what's going on. Hi, Nikki. Yeah, while you're all coming in, hit the thumbs up. So that helps to get the video around. We'll see how many people show up on our early broadcast. Hi, Mary. How you doing? Jax, White Lightning, Rubber Toe. All right, I got my title. B-Dog, how you doing? I got my title. Global Implications. Global Implications. That's one thing to keep in mind with this whole situation. From beginning to end, from the time that the election was unceremoniously taken from us, unlawfully taken from us, till the present day. Things that happen, the actions that are taken have global implications. Hi, William, how you doing? Angela, let's see. Damon, how you doing? Sissy, Melinda, nice to see you all. So I come up with a new term. It's psychological rabies. I'm going to use that. I was going to put that in the thumbnail instead of what I put there, hit the road, Jack, because we got an Amicus brief before SCOTUS. I need to put the word brief in there. I just got Amicus and then SCOTUS. But Amicus brief is a friend of the court brief. If you look up the word amicable, you'll see where that Latin derivation comes from. Amicus brief, friend of the court, by Ed Meese and some other compatriots there that have filed a motion to pretty much have Jack out the door. He's got an invalid office. His entire office is invalid. And I brought this up in the past. Very simple constitutional precepts that are being violated over and over again. And that's what makes me think that this is a lesson. This is being played out more for the populace to understand the Constitution more and to teach people that I'm certain that Trump very much could have and was considering after the big E, okay, election and then shun, all right, that he could have just gone ahead and rounded them up. But two problems. There would have been mass civil unrest mostly because of ignorance of what was happening, people suffering from these unlawful psychological warfare campaigns with media propaganda. And we wouldn't have found out the deeper levels of this swamp, okay? We're seeing just how far this corruption is going. We see just how much societal and psychological damage has happened over the last 20 years. And people have got to recognize it. I mean, it's kind of like being an addict, you got to have a epiphany. You have to go, oh, wait a minute. The road I'm on is not good. I got to make a change. Of course, we've already known what's going on, but I believe this exercise is to get back to the basics. As we always hear from the left, nobody's above the law. What else do we hear? That this country is built on laws. We're a nation of laws. Well, we're teaching what the laws are. Trump putting up the Eighth Amendment. Okay, no excessive fines. I've talked about in the past how we got these plastic phones and little glowing computers. You know, if something burns out in a chip or something, you got nothing. But the Constitution says you could be secure in your papers and effects from unlawful search and seizure. Who's got papers anymore? Who keeps their thoughts down on something that's tangible that you can hold in your hand? Private things. Very, very few people. And when you sign up to these deals to get a phone, get on Goggle or whatever, in the fine print that nobody reads, they can get in, snoop around, look at, sell your information, cut you off. Well, they can't do that with a piece of paper. They can't do that with your records, your diary, your legal papers. But anyway, so here we see these basic constitutional constructs coming up that are going to be put before the Supreme Court. And Ed Meese, you know, by all rights, he should be enjoying his golden years, grandkids, whatever. But here he comes. Here he comes with a wonderful mind, a grasp of the Constitution, and marshals some assistance and writes a very cogent amicus brief and puts it before the court that basically says what I said in many videos many months ago. He's no better than a bum off the street. He's any Joe Schmo. He's a private citizen. He has no standing under our what? Our nation of laws. Nobody's above the law. Okay, well, you don't have an office as prescribed by the Constitution. And it's undeniable. It's going before the court. What were some of the news reports I saw? SCOTUS rejected an appeal of the fines leveled towards it was Sidney Powell and what's his name? Oh gosh, I can't think of it. Lynn Wood. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Well, a lot of the decisions are not being made because the public is not going to be distracted and confused by superfluous decisions. Big picture decisions are going to be made so people can be focused. Because if Jack Smith, I'll give you an example, on this matter of the appointments clause of the Constitution, it's in the Constitution under the appointments clause. If he's found that it's found that he has no authority to do what he's doing, that his office is invalid, everything that was done as a result of the actions of that office, air quotes, that phony, illegal, invalid office, everything goes in the trash pail. So why would SCOTUS waste its time on individual things where creators and news organizations that are twist things can take days and weekends inciting the populace? No, we'll get down to brass tacks. What the HE double hockey sticks are you doing trying to exercise authority that you don't have? You're nothing. You're a private citizen. The last time you were in front of the Supreme Court, you were rejected 9-0, and you're over there piddling around at The Hague, doing nothing but getting yourself embroiled, apparently, in a extortion scheme. So that would be enough for people to chew on and let the media spin that. I was watching, again, that Beanie Boy, they call him, Tim Pool. This liberal bunch on X put out a video that they altered to make it look like Trump pushed somebody, shoved. And he called him out. It was manipulation of the video. Something as simple as a 20-second video. Hello, Mr. Kibler, how you doing? Georgie Joe, honey, how you doing? I saw your comment earlier, honey. I appreciate it. Hi, Angela. Marla. Robin, how you doing? Robin's one of the founders. Let's see, Bubba make it in. Somebody that's been with us a long time, too. I hadn't seen Aaron in a while. Some of the old school gang that remembers some of the stuff I'm saying. Jack says Smith is a tool. Well, we're going to get down to brass tacks with that. But I think, the one that is going to have results, and by results, I mean educating the public, facilitating a D-class, okay, not just the red binder. A lot of people say the red binder is the details on Crossfire Hurricane, the coordinated effort to spy on Trump, create false narratives, and remove a duly elected official. It's a lot more than that. And what is the Georgia case about? What happened during the election? And I think that, that case I think is going to go through, because that is a legal way that you introduce evidence. And if there's people coming in the video that don't like Mr. T, hopefully you haven't gotten to the near incurable point of psychological rabies, which is my new term for T, D, and the last letter is S. Understand that this business people put out, that these cases have been heard before and were found to be invalid. That is a lie. No cases were heard. No evidence was presented. In every instance, there was some kind of technicality that Trump did not come in time. The people involved had no standing, it was ruled, or they didn't file the proper paperwork, or something moronic and aggravating that was not germane to the complaint in question, and no evidence of fraud was permitted to be presented. No cases were ever heard. And that is a fact, and that anything beyond that, people are repeating lies. Repeating lies. Let me just see what's going on in the chat. Hey, Camperman, how you doing? Doc, how you doing? I want to thank Norm. He came in to buy me a coffee yesterday, got me some coffees. I really appreciate it, Norm. If I usually listens the next day. And Bev and Mike and Miss Mindersue, Christopher helped me out. Gary helped me out. Mary Freeland, help me out. Pappy, let's see if anybody's in here to help me out. New Institute, how you doing? Nice to meet you there. Yeah, I had Hilarious, Lone Wolf, Julie, Robin helped me out. Appreciate it, Robin. And Chris with a K. I hadn't seen her in a while. So, William Tyre. Okay. Yeah, 3 booms for Norm. So I will say Norm has sponsored this program. Ha 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 ha. So anyway, so we're going to do what we were told. Focus, and then capital letters, focus. All this stuff about the FBI informant going to jail. We know what that's about. We know what that's about. He's a political prisoner now. And they're jumping up and down about what happened to this individual in Russia. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee if you'll excuse me for just a second. Okay, I'm back. But and I've said it and said it. Nobody breathed a word about an American citizen hailing from California, lost his life in a Ukrainian prison. Nobody said a daggone thing about that. Well, what else are they deflecting from with this individual in Russia that was unalived? There was a guy who stole a helicopter, a high-tech helicopter, and defected from Russia. And he went to Spain. He was living it up in Spain at the exact same time this issue was happening with the prisoner that Biden is in an uproar about. Well, he went to Spain, and apparently some people caught up with him and made a spaghetti strainer out of him, and he's no longer with us. Not a word about that. Not a word about that or about Gonzalo Lira, the American citizen. So anyway, I'm curious, we're all curious with this Fanny drama that we're seeing. What's going to happen with this Jack Smith case? Of course, they're going to consider the amicus brief. It's written by a former attorney general, and it's couched in the law, black letter of the law. Counter arguments are included and rebuffed in detail by the Jack Smith camp. And what the amicus brief encourages the court to do is to stay the proceedings that are being conducted under the auspices of this invalid office and return the question to the presiding judges of the lower court, which is Judge Chutkin in D.C. and Judge Eileen Cannon in Florida. So if that happens, they're going to have to make a decision. What happens if it's a decision that either party doesn't like? Well, I would suspect it goes to the lower appeals court. Then they have to make a decision. And they might say, well, we'll look at it with 3 judges out of the entire appeals court and make their decision. Well, if either party doesn't agree, what happens then? Well, it might go to an en banc decision. The entire appeals court will have to weigh in. All this business about whether the trial is going to happen before the election or not is superfluous. I believe the business of getting the presiding judges on record, whether or not they have the mental capacity or the moral capacity to do the right thing under the Constitution or not, we'll find that out. When it goes to the appeals court, if it's a 3-judge decision or not, we'll get detailed information on how these people's brains are operating. And if it goes to the entire lower appeals court, I don't know if DC has 9 or 8 or 7. I believe Florida has 9. They all got to weigh in. And if it's unacceptable to either party, they would take it, I know Trump would, to the Supreme Court. What are we doing? What are we doing with all this stuff? What we're doing is we're finding out who in the world is sitting in those chairs and how their brains work. And it will be a decision whether these people remain in their office. If they can't understand basic precepts of the Constitution. And when I talk about the Constitution, to some people, they go, oh, that's just too deep. That's just too complicated. Wait a minute. Legally speaking, the Constitution is the easiest document you will ever read when it comes to understanding the law in this country. It doesn't get any simpler. Try to read some of these law books and every crazy notion and thought that's popped up, in order to defend others, their clients, or for politicians to wiggle out of stuff or dream up ways to do this and do that. All of it's got to comport with the, relatively speaking, simple document called the Constitution. It's the go-to. So we'll see what these people are made of. And I believe that this exercise is to make sure that if we have people that are actively pursuing a means and an end that are contrary to our rule of law, that they no longer sit in positions of public responsibility. I think that is a big part of this whole operation. And as Trump said, at 3 o'clock in the morning or 3:30 in the morning after the election of 2016, these things take time. So, hi, Lone Wolf. I just gave you a shout out. How you doing? Well, Angela, I don't go with prophets. I go with the book, the good book, not internet prophets. Hi, Garrett. Lincoln Park. I don't know. Hi, the dude. How you doing? Ha ha. Thank you, David. They said there should be a loves button. All right. If y'all get a chance, hit the like button for me. Helps the video get around. Go ahead out there, go podge it. Podge the like button. Well, the thing with Fannie, what do you guys think's going to happen? Are they going to get rid of her boyfriend and her, or just her boyfriend, or just her? The thing about it is the statute or regulations or whatever they're bumbling around with over this business with Fannie Willis. Without getting into details and nitpicking, what does it is you're not allowed to have the appearance of impropriety. They can argue all day long, scratch each other's eyes out about whether or not she did do this or didn't do that, or how much she had, whatever. Nobody can deny that there is an appearance of impropriety. Well, what kind of can of worms? I said about the judge. I said, I'm not sure where he's coming from yet. I don't know if y'all remember that or not. Well, comes out that he gave a donation to Fannie Willis's campaign. Now, we didn't know that, but in the past, we discussed that he had been working in the state government there and in the prosecutor's office, and Fannie was essentially his superior prior to him becoming a judge. And now he's a judge, and it came out that I think in 2020 he gave her a donation of $150, and well, he didn't disclose it. He didn't disclose that, and his wife, this judge's wife, donated to Fannie Willis's campaign in the past. I don't know the exact numbers or dates or whatever. If they'd have told about all the donations up front, that's one thing. They tried to conceal it. The appearance of impropriety is definitely there. So you've got the situation, not just with Fannie and Nathan, that's very serious on multiple points. But you have now the judge embroiled. Well, hi, hilarious. He hasn't really, if the reports I heard are accurate, I'll put it that way, he hasn't really comported with the rules because he didn't disclose everything about his or his family's donations, his or his family's. I don't know. That's right, honey. You got to have receipts. Yeah, RSBN will be showing Mr. T and Frank on NPC show. Will be showing it. So I don't know when it's going to start. He could start at 9. He could start at 9:15. He could start at 9:30. I don't know. That's right, Angela. Fannie does everything in cash. If you check the NPC show, he should have a time on there, and he'll change it. If Trump's not up, he'll bump it back 15 minutes. Oh, new hindsight. That's okay. We understand. That happens. They call it a red eye. A blood vessel burst. Give it about a week, really. Rest it, and some eye drops. So, and plus we're going to see what I'm seeing. Keep on trucking, honey says. We'll see what this trucking, just like that lady trucker I played in the video. Nobody wants to destroy or harm the people in New York, but people need to have a message, and people want to be heard when they give a message. So there's going to be some kind of impact. How you doing, Julie? There's going to be some kind of impact there. But, what are some of these very basic constitutional precepts that are going to be laid out before the people? One of them is excessive fines. Just before, a couple hours, maybe 3 or 4 hours before I went live, I saw a report on ABC News that the judge, which is a moron, denied the Trump camp request to have 30 days to arrange how this so-called judgment would be manifested or executed or whatever people want to say, which is, from what I understand, traditional. You have a judgment. You got so much time to, do an appeal or put your 10 cent, 2 cents in or whatever. And no. He's basically saying that Letitia can take action forthwith. So what have we been talking about for the better part of a year? These people are Marxists and communists. I called them American Bolsheviks. That's what started the Soviet Union, the Bolshevik Revolution. A lot of people thought that's what Trump was alluding to when he was talking about what happened in 1917, 1918, which was when the Bolsheviks had their uprising in Russia. So now I used to have to break those words up, or say them very sparingly or in a general sense rather than saying it about individuals. And I said it needs to be put out there plump and plain, even right down to your local people. Well, now, ever since Trump's town hall, where he came right out and said about Engoron, said about Letitia James, that they're communist. He didn't say they act like them, that they were. Now that is popping off all around. So I feel much freer saying it. That's not to say I won't get in trouble. But it's like not being able to talk about the election. We can now to a large degree. I'm still hampered about certain issues I can't talk about. But not too many months ago, I would say even the word, and I would have a week's vacation and a strike. So at least we're overwhelming the message. I saw a report from I think it was the Washington Times about what is this news service that almost went under, and I think a NGO bailed them out. Now they're Vice Media. Here it is. Wall Street Journal reports Vice Media to stop publishing on Vice.com. Let's see. Plans to cut hundreds of jobs. Cuts follow failed effort by owner Fortress to sell embattled digital publisher and its brands. If I remember correctly, this is the second go-around for Vice News, and that a Georgie Porgy Soriosio company bailed them out once already, along with, I believe, the Daily Beast. So they're still sinking, and that's because of digital bullhorns, or whatever you want to call digital soldiers, whatever, that get the word out. People who would rather spend their time on platforms like this, finding out what's going on, than watch nonsense like Vice News, who a lot of times reporters are suffering from what I talked about earlier, psychological rabies. I don't know if I got that in my thumbnail or not. I would get in trouble for that if I did. But that's the new term. So I don't know when Mr. T is going to go live. Once he does, for sure, I take a few minutes to wrap up, but I'm going to keep going until he goes live. because we got a lot to talk about. There is, remember when Catherine Herridge got fired? Catherine Herridge, who did that very good report on Guantanamo, right? Bay, right? And the courtrooms there and the prison expansion. She got fired. Well, that's not the end of the story. I think Jonathan Turley was raising Cain about it on the Hill. CBS faces uproar after seizing investigative journalist files. The position of CBS has alarmed many, including the union, as an attack on free press principles by one of the nation's most esteemed press organizations. CBS apparently raided Catherine Herridge's computers, notes, all her files, attempting to find out her sources. That's a big no-no. In the world of journalism, we've already had Matt Taibbi wake up while he was giving testimony to Congress. They were raiding his home. The IRS was raiding his home when he was discussing the Twitter files. And now you're Catherine Herridge having her offices raided. So, hey, we got to wake these people up. Some of these people that have been on a long political drunk in their brain, having this delusional notion that some crumb bum appointed illegally is going to take out the 45th president of the United States, that some corrupt local DA like Fannie Willis with a grand jury, mind you, was headed up by a Wiccan witch. You can't make this stuff up. But these people who have been on this long political drunk thinking that this stuff is actually going to work with the global implications we're facing. Like Trump said last night during his town hall. He said, I'm afraid for everybody's safety. Because they asked him once again about his personal safety. So they think that this stuff's going to work. They got nothing coming. I think it's going to get whittled down to very basic questions that the people can review and digest and accept and find encouragement. 9-0, 9-0 decisions on big picture stuff. I may be wrong, but I look for the Fannie Willis case to go hook or crook, to be able to lay out on the table. Here's what happened. Here's how they cheated. Here it is. Prima facie evidence, undeniable. Trump was right. Lock him up. That's what I am expecting. Because yes, Mr. T said that revenge would be success. But if you notice, he didn't say anything about retribution. And retribution is a debt that's owed to society by people that have broken the law. And nobody's going to walk away with from this without paying their retribution. Just retribution. But I'm just looking at the chats here. Oh, yeah, courtroom TV will be all the rage. And I was thinking after this is over, it ain't going to be over. We're going to have a lot to talk about in the future because we got to, as Trump said, plant the roots deep. Okay? We're dealing with corruption at global levels. Okay? And he's got to rip all that out by the roots. And then at the very top of the federal government, after that, folks, we got to clean our own back porches off. We gotta weed our own flower beds. We've got to get this stuff cleaned out. It's going to take time and dedication, and we got to educate our friends so they can educate their friends, so they can educate their children, so this type of thing never happens again. But I'm thinking it's going to be codified down to a relatable story. Just as I said, a lot of people thought 1776 was a rough weekend, and then we had a country. No, it took years. It took years before the Constitution was finally ratified, and we had a fully functioning republic, democratic republic. So that's what's going to be going on here, folks. We've got a lot of work to do, and a lot of stories to tell, and a lot of crooks to catch. Look at that super mayor. Where's she from? Look at her. Some of these people, they're not communists. They're not purposefully trying to upend the Constitution. They really don't understand or know about it. They're what Trump refers to as low IQ people, okay? And they get in position because they're useful idiots. The puppet masters can play them, and they find themselves in position of power because they're willing to do dirty deeds. They're easily bought. And then they can be leveraged at under the threat of being exposed, or without their government position, they couldn't function in life. They have no other skills. They can be easily manipulated into doing what the puppet masters want. So that's the recipe they've been using for decades and decades. So again, we're going to get into with Trump, due process. Okay, everybody's entitled to due process. And I saw somebody put an article up, said, never mind, no victims. People say, oh, there's no victims. And then I've heard that some creators are saying, for liberals, I guess, they're saying, well, or people say, oh, somebody gets caught drunk driving, but they hadn't had a wreck or anything like that, there's no victim. That doesn't mean they shouldn't get in trouble because they were drunk driving. Well, that's a bad analogy you use for Trump. There's not only were there no victims, there was no crime. Okay? So when you hear analogies like that, this is not a victimless crime. This is a victimless non-crime. And that's not what our courts are for. Political retribution or some kind of social construct some communist wants to put into being once they have the power to do so. And who knows how many other lives he's destroyed that we don't know about. People that never got the publicity, people that didn't have the money to fight, people that had their rights destroyed by this creature and people like him. You think Judge Engoron is the only commie that's been holding power in federal office? You think he's the only commie that destroys somebody's dreams, their business, or unduly burdens them with fines and gets a kick out of it? He's not the only one. It happens all over the country all the time. Oh, wait a minute, Camperman. Ha ha! Thank you, camperman. There you, I see it. 3 booms. Thank you for going by Buy Me a Coffee to help us sponsor tonight's program. I appreciate it very much. And earlier in the program, I gave a shout out to everybody that's helped me out for the past couple of weeks. I do appreciate it. And Nikki gave us a boom, 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 boom. Ha ha ha. So that's right, Ian. They created a crime out of nothing. And what gets me and what is frustrating to all of us is the people that feel that somehow this is good for our country just because they don't like Mr. T. But as one of the first lessons my father told me, if they can do it to you, them, if they can do it to somebody else, they can do it to you. Keep that in mind in everything you do, everything you vote for. Because you may be feeling good about yourself. You may be feeling you're in a financial position that'll never change. You may feel that you're in a position of physical health that'll never change. You may feel that you have all the political contacts and best friends that'll never change. So you won't have to deal with what you vote for to happen to somebody else. But you know what? Things change. Things change. You may find yourself in a position where you don't have the wherewithal to spend big money on an attorney for some kind of crumb bum accusations. You imagine what the worst thing they can do with whatever law, regulation, anything like that, any type of influence over the government, over a private person's life. What's the worst thing they can do? Somebody will do it. Somebody will push it to the very edge and beyond. Abuse of power. The best thing to do is not let them have that power in the first place. Some people have a personality where they worry about how much fun other people are having in life, and it makes them upset that other people are having fun. If you find yourself thinking that way, that's not healthy. I want everybody to be successful. I want everybody to own a home. I want everybody to have multiple vehicles. I want everybody to have plenty of time on their hands to relax and enjoy themselves. I want everybody to be doing something in life they enjoy doing. I feel good when I see somebody succeed or happy. But some people don't. Some people bite their lip and think of ways to constrain others. Hi, Pappy Two Bears. How you doing? Give me a thumbs up, David. Don't give anything unless you can do it. I mean, I understand that. Help the channel out for free by giving a thumbs up. Ha ha ha. I am, let's say, hope versus spite. That's right. And some people, no matter what you do, there's going to be sad sacks and malcontents. Has Mr. T started his speech yet? Because I got some stories in the news, and I'll also continue with my Carrie Lake. She was on Real America's Voice, and she put it out there in terms, this $95 billion they're trying to give to Ukraine. You know, everybody going, oh, we got to stand with Ukraine, hooray for Ukraine. You know, like Putin said, haven't you got something better to do? Boy, it's about the simplest way to put it. Don't you have anything better to do? And but she puts it out there. The American people are fed up. I'm glad they're turning this money down. Do you know what 95 billion could buy? I could buy 237,500 Americans a $400,000 home. And we're sending that over there to unalive people overseas. It's insane. Well, a $400,000 home, I don't know about y'all parts, but in the parts I live in, that's a pretty daggone nice home. Make it $200,000 homes, and you could buy 500,000 people homes. Make it $100,000 homes. You can buy 1,000,000 people homes. That's the terminology you put it in. That's what people understand. And what the Democrats have been good at doing, oversimplifying. Just like I said early in the broadcast, we're a nation of laws. Nobody's above the law. This nation was founded on law. And so when you get in with a lib and you try to say, hey, look, what they're doing to Trump is wrong, nobody's above the law. Like, just morons repeating things. Well, what Carrie Lake is showing there, something, a click above, that's something that people can grasp, along with the very rational statement by Putin. Haven't you got anything better to do? Being around our backyard? CPAC started this week. And I guess, I don't know if he gave the keynote or not, but my pick for VP got up there. I didn't get a chance to listen to his whole speech, but Mark Robinson, he got up there, and he's boiling it down, just like I'm describing how the left does it. The left, Mark Robinson is on fire. The left is wrong. They are wrong on every topic, on every issue. They don't have a political leg to stand on. They don't have a social leg to stand on. They don't have a spiritual leg to stand on. Political, social, spiritual. Every one of those categories are disastrous for our country, immoral, unhealthy. Their political views, their social views, right down the line. Spiritual especially. Now, if you could add it in there, and he may have later in speech, economic. Certainly in spiritual, they don't have a leg to stand on. And then you get some character, well, I don't believe in God. Well, shake the dust of their house from your feet and never stay away from them. Avoid them. Be nice to them. Just don't, they gotta clean their own filthy souls when they get to that point. But economic, social, political, and spiritual, it's all garbage. Indefensible. I have a right to choose. If you don't value life, if you don't have any affinity, any love for an innocent child, you don't have any concern for your own soul, I can't help you. I can't help you. Good luck. Have a nice day. Answer for yourself when the time comes. No one will listen to you. No one will even, hey, the way it works is, my good and faithful servant, right? Or, I never knew you. You won't even get to have these arguments. Well, it's a woman's right to choose. I never knew you. I never knew you. You won't even be heard. And that's the way I'm going to do it on earth with my life. People want to just, hey, I don't know you. The way you're talking, I don't know you. Who's that got 10 to 20? They all got 10 to 20 million new insight. Yeah, Fanny's got money. All of them got money. So we'll see. Are they going to try to send out marshals, or how are they going to try to enforce this judgment? I don't know. What are they going to do? Go and stand around the lobby in Trump Towers with pistols on their hips? What are they going to say? That, we got this $400 million judgment. Trump Towers isn't enough. We think Trump Towers is worth $1.2 million, which of course is worth quite a bit more than that. So we're going to need to confiscate this property, that property. Where are they going to stop? Maybe this is what they want to show us. What these people go, who's going to run the damn property? Everything the government touches, bureaucrats touch, goes to you know where. Wait a second, I got a notification. All right, Negan brought a newbie. All right. Thanks for all. Thank you, Negan. If I'm pronouncing that properly, Negan. I appreciate very much for helping to sponsor tonight's program. MS Motorsports says it'll never happen. Hey, look how many things, how many, even back in, before 2020, we thought would never happen. They're going to arrest Trump. Oh, that'll never happen. Well, it did. They're going to take his mugshot. Oh, never happened. Well, it did. Oh, they're going to shut down the entire economy in America and around the world, make everybody put masks on their face. Oh, that'll never happen. Well, it did. They're going to tell you if you don't have this thing stuck in your body, they're going to take your job away. No, that'll never happen. Well, it did. People are going to be reporting that there's unexplained unaliving, okay? People expire in an unexplained way by the thousands, so much so that, and honey, if you're still out there, in the UK, they do a study and say there's thousands of unexplained DEA, right? TH. And nobody will do anything about it. No, that'll never happen. Well, it's happening. We're going to see every week, we're going to get reports of teenagers, 12-year-olds, 18-year-olds, corking off playing soccer or whatever sport, and nobody know why. Increase 100-fold. No, yeah, it happened. It's happening now. I agree, Angela. Mr. T allowed them. This is a lesson. This is a lesson. And hi, Donna, how you doing? I don't want to say that we have to dumb it down. But at the time of our nation's founding, people had time to ponder. They lived lifestyles where they didn't have to get up and be at a building at a certain hour and spend so many hours at a certain task. They were secure in their property, papers, and effects, okay? They had a home. They built a home. They went out chopped down some trees, put up a log cabin, had gardens, had their food, could buy from their neighbors or barter with their neighbors, and they had time to ponder. Okay? Think about their condition. They could meet at taverns and discuss things with their friends. They didn't have a hectic life of sitting in traffic for hours, worrying about their 401k. They had time to ponder. They didn't have a deluge of things to take up their time. They could read the Bible. They could read the writings of Plato, okay? They could educate themselves. They could think about political theory, economic theory, things of that nature. Their freedoms as compared to England, what it was, and in other nations. Now we live in this where people got to get on a treadmill and run like hell, a hamster wheel every day. Granted, some of it is a lack of discipline because their free time is taken up with sports, which we now know after the phony bowl, all this buildup about Taylor Swift, all this buildup about her boyfriend, which team he played for. There was no way in HE double hockey sticks that team was going to lose. We're being entertained in a rigged system. It's not entertainment, folks. It's distraction. Educating yourselves, educating your kids is a responsibility, and it's work, but it's enjoyable work if you understand that it'll help you and your progeny live a happier and freer life if you understand. I get frustrated when people say, you talk about deep stuff that's too deep. And I think to myself, what do you want to talk about? What more important things are there to talk about than who the hell these people are that are dreaming up ways to have where you have a faucet where water doesn't come out? Dreaming up ways to have a toilet that doesn't flush. Dreaming up ways to outlaw a backyard garden. Dreaming up ways to sneak bugs in my food. What the hell else more is there important is there to talk about? How the hell could there be 20 million more votes than there were people registered? What could be more important? How can an American icon, I-C-O-N, I had somebody say to me, what's that mean? Literally didn't know what the word icon meant. And we're going to talk to me about politics, talk to me about what's right and wrong? How can an American icon that this nation respected, a successful person that kids can emulate about being a disciplined person, a hard-working person, somebody who avoids drugs, avoids alcohol, uses their brain, goes on TV, has successful shows. The show is designed to show people how to be successful, how to be good entrepreneurs for decades. And a miracle happens. The first time they run for president, they win. How can his persona be destroyed day in, day out, hour after hour after hour? Libeled, slandered, and his supporters. What's so deep about that? too deep. What's too deep is what's wrong with these people that don't see that there's something wrong. That's the scariest thing I have to think about. I'm not scared of the globalists. I'm not scared of these sidewalk just judges that come by your house and want to call the code enforcement because they think you didn't mow your yard in time. We can take care of those. I'm worried about the ones that don't give a damn. Don't care if their kids come home and say, I'm worried about my gender. I want to get hormone shots. Those are the people with the problem. Those are the people that are a problem. They need to take responsibility. They need to understand the seriousness of their freedoms, how serious it is to maintain your freedom. Because somebody's after it every minute of every day. That's right, honey. How some people thought it was normal for president to get removed from Twitter. And some people thought it was okay. Well, it's going to get down to the point where people that think it is okay for Trump to have his property confiscated after everything's laid out, that's going to be laid out, you're dealing with a jerk. A jerk. Anybody that thinks that it's okay for Trump to be treated, and his supporters to be treated the way they're treating us, they are jerks. All right, Andrew. Hit that like button. Lee J. I bet you hit the like too, didn't you? Did Mr. T go up yet? That's right, Robin. Sure, oatmeal was the most basic thing, isn't it? And then they screw with that. Well, corn used to be one of the most basic staples. And now stuff is genetically modified. I'm thinking the morons are the ones who don't derive any concern about what they're doing to our food. Boy, I tell you, growing up in the 60s, you could, get your car and swap out engines and get you a hot rod and learn how to do things. A lot of these, they don't even know what they're missing. They want to ride around a little battery-operated toy. But they want to take everything away. Let's see. All right. So that's what we're going to keep an eye on. I will be happy if SCOTUS takes that amicus brief and takes the advice and sends the question of whether or not Jack Smith is a lawful officer back to the judges so we can see what they're made of. Whether they're arbitrary and capricious, malicious, what they are. And operating in an extrajudicial fashion, we can get rid of them. That's what we're looking for next. I got a new word for y'all to look up. Put in your quiver. I said the other night, umbrage, that I was going to take umbrage with somebody that was preaching their own preaching, something other than the Bible. That's fine if they want to do it. They can do it on somebody else's channel, though. But anyway, I got another word For these people that keep thinking everything's okay and pushing for us to continue this new world order nightmare, this Biden criminality, I feel vast and great dudgeon. Dudgeon. D-U-D-G-E-O-N. Dudgeon. And it's even worse when it's vast and great. So I'm starting to have vast and great dudgeon with these people. And I will, when they offend me, of course, I always stay in a good nature. I'll just tell them, hey, you have psychological rabies. You can't stand Trump. When he's a good person, he's the only one that has not been involved in politics, and only one who's kept us out of wars. And you believe the lies of the mainstream media, and if you continue to do it, you're going to incur my vast and great dudgeon. So we're friends. I hope we'll always be friends until you incur my vast and great dudgeon. Hi, dudgeon. Oh, I see. Chemicals that make the plants, I guess it stiffens them up. And then we eat that garbage. I tell you, I know a lot of people don't have the luxury of being near farm areas, but I tell you what, a lot of you will be surprised if you just check around a 20-30 mile radius, you may be able to have a good relationship or get a grocery store that gets their produce locally when it's in season, and like Robin was doing, learn how to can. Oh, hi, honeys. Did you hear my word, dudgeon? I know you have that over there in the UK. You have that all the time. People who, two people was there at war with Mr. T. You can see a flicker of a light bulb coming on. People have to count the cash, like Carrie Lake put out there for everybody about how many hundreds of thousands of homes could be bought. But think about those lives. We got one shot. I know some people believe in reincarnation, but I tell you what the book says. One shot. One shot. And if you're a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, and during a time of war, and put a price tag on that, right? Hi, Diane. How are you doing? Well, anyway, folks, I know Mr. T hadn't started yet, but I've been up for over an hour. So this was going to be a short broadcast. I appreciate, it's not as many as usually come in, but we had a good group tonight. And let me see if we got any. Talked about Mark Robinson, Carrie Lake. Nikki Haley is, somebody found these mailers that Nikki Haley's campaign is putting out in South Carolina, and they're mailing them to Democrats. And I got a picture of one of them I'm looking at. It says, here's another pro-Nikki Haley mailer urging Democrats to vote for her in the South Carolina Republican Party. Is from SFA Fund, a pro-Haley super PAC run by Mark Harris. The voter says they've received one every few weeks and being bombarded by texts. So this mailer says, notice to action. And these are Democrats. You can make a difference. You are eligible to vote. Please participate by voting for Nikki Haley and make your voice heard. If you did not vote, oh boy. Well, she's desperate. She's desperate. Let's see. Demonocracy. New insight. Democracy or demonocracy? Never heard of that. Thank you all. Hi, CJ 1975. How you doing? Thank you, Robin. Hi, Marla. Did I say hi to you yet? All right, folks. Well, let's see. Saturday's the big day, right? Saturday, hey, like Trump said, time goes by fast. It gets here before you know it. So let's see what happens Saturday. And they're trying to get a bunch of demon rats to vote in the primary there. Oh, Ron DeSantis. Now, did y'all have your cell phones go out? Did any of y'all have a cell phone disruption? Because I didn't notice it. But Ron DeSantis gave a little speech and he said about the cell outage. Imagine if we had an EMP attack. What would end up happening to this country? You're so naturally reliant on having cell service. It's a little bit jarring to think about. Well, not for me. I saw a meme today with an old rotary phone. Remember those rotary phones? I still got one hanging on the wall. He's got a picture of a rotary phone sitting on a desk, and the handset's taken off and laid on the desk. That's how we did call blocking back in the day. That's how you block calls. You just took the handset off the ringer and go out and enjoy your day. So that's the attitude people need to have. But now it's like people treat phones like they're part of their body. Well, not me. And you all think about ways to get your people that are important to you. Oh gosh, I'm going to give you this one last story about SCOTUS. And we're going to see what happens with this case. Remember I said big picture, broad brush. Okay? They're not going to get involved in little, offshoots of the main problem. Here is a case. A couple this is from Newsmax, a couple whose son was taken from their custody because they refused to ignore their religious beliefs and call him by his preferred name and pronouns, asked the Supreme Court to take up their case so no other family must endure a similar, quote, nightmare. I pulled that up just before I came live. Somebody lost custody of their child because they won't play that game. And the people who are behind that need to go to prison. And the people who have been influencing that child need to go to prison. Okay, but that's what's going before the Supreme Court. And we'll see what happens with that, folks. So with that, we will retire and get ready to listen to Mr. T. And whether he tells a snake story again, the weightlifter story, whatever story, we're going to listen to him. We're going to see if he gives us any little hints or whatever. And we're going to stay positive and give him the best ratings we can give him. And make sure we reach out to people who have not fallen too far into psychological rabies. All right, folks. I'll be talking to you soon. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. And thank you for sponsoring tonight's show, Norm, Camperman, and Negan. I appreciate it very much. So you all have a great night. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.